Great. Welcome to this channel. And as I already said, I'm Ajimano Frederick. So today we are going to treat about ICT in business. IT in business. So in a normal sense, when you talk of ICT in business, you are trying to let us understand that how information technology is being used and acquired in businesses. Please hope you are getting it. Great. So with this, we are going to study more of what? Information systems, concept, and classifications. Hope you are getting it. So with this, we move on to understanding that information systems is a combination of information technology and people's activity using technology to support businesses, processes, operation, management, and decision making at different levels of what the organization. So when it comes to operations with information system, all that we are trying to talk about is the combination of technology. Technology like what? Computers, softwares, and networks, and people that helps business to run smoothly. So when you get to an organization whereby they are using information system, you can get to know that their hardwares or their technology and people comes together to help the business or to help the organization to run what smoothly. Hope you are getting it. Great. So with this, what then is information technology? When you talk of information technology, it refers to the hardware, the software, the networks, and other technological elements that are employed to support information management and processes of aspects in organization. So all that we are trying to talk about is information technology. They are the tools that are being employed in the organization, and with the help of people it helps us to help businesses to run smoothly. That is when we came up with the information system. So information systems is when the combination of information technology and the people coming together to help businesses run smoothly. But information technology itself alone, they are the tools, they are the hardware, they are the softwares that are being employed in what? In the business. What we're getting. So for um a bank system that tracks deposits, withdrawals, and transfers. These are information systems. But with information technology, they are what? The tools. What are some of the tools? They are the computers, they are the software, they are the networks. And then information system is what? Information technology plus people plus what? Business processes, which are going to help us to understand the concept of how we are going to go about things. Hope you're getting it. So with informations and then with so I've explained information system and information technology. Hope you get what I'm talking about. Great. So the information system supports organization and almost every business unit within an organization. So what are the operations or what are the operations of information system? What does information systems what? Their operations, and it involves the IPOS, that is the input, the process, the output, and the storage. So we call this the IPOS what? Cycle. So it's the cycle of collecting input and then manipulating data to generate what? Output, and then save what? The data or for this for storage. So for example, talking of using this example like a smartphone versus a mobile app. So that allows you to send money. So a smartphone is a data, and then sorry, a smartphone itself is not a data, rather, sorry, it's an information technology. That is, they are the tools that helps us to input data and then make sure that it also helps us to process those data that has been inputted, and then it helps us to generate an output and store them. Hope you're getting it. So with the input of data, for example, of scanning a product barcode in a supermarket. So when you scan a product of a barcode in a supermarket, you can see to you that a certain data has been inputted. Hope you're getting it. And with the processes, it talks of what? Making sense of that data. So as you have scanned the barcode, you are trying to make sense of what that barcode, and then as you're trying to make sense, is processes. So after some time, you see to it that it will give you a result. That's the output. So when you get to a supermarket and then you scan a barcode, it keeps on running. That is being keep on processing. And after some time, it gives you the data or it gives you the price. Hope you get. So the cashier sees the price on the screen. So as you scan the barcode, it helps you or it processes those data that has been input and then gives you an output. That's the price. And later on, it can be stored or saved for the future use. Can't forget it. So this is how you are going to understand the concept and how things are being done in the organization. So with this, you move on to the IPO cycle as we discussed. The inputs, processes, the input, the processing, the output, the storage, and also the feedback. So this is the IPOS cycle. Hope you're getting this. So with information systems and information technology, they go hand in hand. It helps you to understand what is expected of you to do in a particular organization, how you are going to effectively manage information technology with the help of people to make the organization run smoothly. That's information's what? System. Hope you're getting it. Great. So with this, we move on to the components of an information system. When you talk of the component of an information system, all that we are trying to find out is what information systems entails. What information system does what? Entails. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Great. So with this, we have what? Data. So information systems entails what? Data. And what are data? Data are raw facts or observations that are considered to have little or no value. Hope I get it. So for example, you went out to write 200 bags. 200 bags is it's just the data. But what will make that data what? An information. You will get there. So we are trying to let you understand. Data, they are just raw facts. Yes, for example, the collection of random facts or maybe symbols and other stuff. They are just raw facts. They are just raw facts that after being processed, it turns to information. So if you go out and then someone will be like, give me the data of this particular people, what he or she is trying to let you understand that that particular data is must be processed in order for us to get an information. You ever get what I'm talking about? Great. So that is what about data. It's just that they are just facts. They are raw facts. They have not passed through any process. You get it? For example, like barcode. Barcode is just raw facts. Before barcode can become an information, it might be first be inputted and then it pass through processes to bring an output. Do you get it? Yes. So that's what we mean by what? Data. Then what then is information? What then is information? So as you know, what then is information? Information are data that have been processed so that they become meaningful. Hope you're getting it. So when you get a particular data and then you are transforming that data, you are trying to make sure that that data becomes what meaningful or what useful. Hope you get what I'm talking about. Great. So that is how you have to go about things and how you have to explain issues as with regards to what informations and what data. If you're getting it, great. So we are moving on to the next part. That's transforming data to informations. Transforming data to information. So with the transmission of data into information, it involves information involves transforming data using a defined process. A defined process. In order for you to get a meaning or the meaning of something from a data, it must pass through a defined process. And this process involves placing data in some form of a meaningful context. So we are trying to let you understand what at all is information. Information involves what? What does it involve? It involves transforming the data using what? A defined process. And also it involves placing data in some form of a meaningful what? Context. You get it? So information is produced in response to an information need and therefore serves a specific what? Purpose. You get it? So information is very, very simple for you to understand. So these courses are courses that it is very simple for you to get an A because you understand how these things works in organizations. You get it? Great. And then you move on to the types of information what? Processing. Types of information processing. Types of information what? Processing. So in talk of the types of information process, what do we mean? What are we trying to talk about? What are we trying to mean? One, we have the classification. 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 We are trying to talk about how data is being processed. When we talk of the types of information processing, we're trying to let you know that how data is being processed. So first of all, we have the classification, which is it involves the placing data into categories. Hope you're getting. So for example, sorting expenses, we have the fixed expense and have the variable expense. Hope you're getting it. Or we have the fixed thing as it is being said, or we have the variable thing. So this part of classification means you are trying to group data into categories. Yes, we are trying to group data into categories. So we call it what? The classification one. Hope you're getting. And you have the rearranging and sorting or sorting. So this involves organizing data so that items are grouped together or placed into a particular what order. Hope you're getting it in a particular what order. So for example, we are having like sorting employees' names alphabetically. Sorting employees' names alphabetically. If you're getting, so you are trying to the payroll of, or when you talk of the payroll, that's the sheet that helps us to know the number of employees that we expected to pay them as with regards to their wages is. Hope you're getting it. Great. So this is how you have to know about rearranges. Like you are trying to make sure that data is being grouped in items or together at a particular in order or at a particular order or into a particular what order. Hope you're getting it. Great. And we have what? Aggregating. Aggregating. That is, this involves summarizing data, for example, by calculating average, totals, or subtotals. One of the way to also understand information systems or understand information or how data is being processed is by what? Aggregating. Hope you're getting it. Or summarizing. So it's just like, for example, counting how many sales were made in a day. Yes. If you are counting the number of sales that were made in a day, you are trying to find out the aggregate. Hope you're getting it. Good. And we move on to the next one. Now we call it what? Performing what? Calculations. Performing calculations. Performing calculations. So an example might be calculating an employee gross pay by multiplying the number of hours worked by the hourly rate of pay. You are going to learn something as times go on, something called what? The payroll. So with payroll, we multiply the number of hours that an employee worked by the minimum pay. Hope you are getting it. Yes. So when we talk of the gross pay, what is expected of an employee to earn before deductions or other drawings are being what? Subtracted. So that's why we use the performing calculations as a type or as how data is being processed. Because in order for you to know what is expected of every employee to get or as their wage, you have to calculate, you have to perform some calculations. And as you are performing those calculations, you are trying to make sure that data is passing through a defined process to bring out meaningful what? Informations. Hope you are getting it. And then we move on to the selection. We have this selection, it involves choosing or discarding items of data on the basis of a set of selection criteria. So at times you might have a standard. Hope you are getting it. So as you are being given a standard, you classify data into those standards that okay, this is the standard giving it to me. So if I want to choose some items and also not to choose some items, you can use that data. For example, if you would want to become part of something, they will tell you that okay, you have to get a CW of let's say 75. The CW of 75 talks of what? A standard. So those standard will help us to know what the people that we expected to choose and the people that we can reject them. Hope you're getting it. So a sales organization, for example, might create a list of potential customers by selecting those incomes above a certain level. You get it? So if you want to know potential customers, you know the income level of those what? Customers. Hope you're getting it. Great. And then move on to information versus data. Information versus data. So with this, I will not draw much with it because you can easily identify it on your own and get to know which one is information, which one is also what data as well. Hope you are getting it. Yes. So as a university student, from a point of view of a student at university student, you have to know what the informations are, what are also the data. Hope you are getting it. So you can classify them. So in your own way, before you move on to the answer, you must check it out for you. The data, is it an information? Is it a data? You get it. A bank statement, is it an information or is it a data? You get to know what to do. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Great. So these are information versus data. Classify them. Classify these A to G. Classify them into informations and what? Data. And then move on to the next one. That's the answer. So you can see that the date is a data. You get it? Because if you say 27 January, what have you said? You don't have any meaningful thing in it. You get it? But a bank statement, you can get to know that a bank statement gives you an information of what is expected of you or your transactions within a month. Hope you're getting it. Great. So the number plates, like the number 1355.76, what value? We are not having any information in it. We don't understand what this means. But if this can be translated or being defined, passed through a defined process, we can get to know what is expected or how things are being done. Hope you're getting it. Great. So that is all is it about the information versus the data. So that follows suit with the rest of the examples. And then move on to tangible information and intangible information. What do we mean by tangible informations? What do we mean by intangible information? In as much that there is an example here for you to illustrate which one is being tangible and intangible, let's first of all explain what at all or what makes an information to be tangible and what makes an information to be what intangible. So when we talk of tangible informations, what then is tangible information? Tangible informations are what? Information which has the physical or the concrete data that can be touched, seen or measured. Have I getting it? Yes, they are the tangible data that can be touched, seen or measured. For example, like a company's inventory shows a record of like 100 boxes of paper rather. So it's a physical item. You can feel it. You get it? And then 50 computer monitors. It's a physical item. You can see it. So this information is tangible because it refers to physical objects that can be counted, weighed, or measured. That makes it tangible. Hope you're getting it. So what of intangible information? Intangible information is non-physical or abstract data that cannot be touched or measured directly. So for example, employee skills and expertise. You can't measure someone knowledge and abilities. No, you can't measure it. I hope you're getting it. Customer satisfaction and also ratings, opinions and feelings. You can't, it's not a physical thing that you can touch. Hope you're getting it. So this information is intangible because it refers to abstract concepts, things that cannot be touched. Hope you're getting it. And knowledge and perception that cannot be physically measured or counted. Can you count someone's knowledge? No. Hope you're getting it. Yes. And we have other forms of intangible information. You have the software integrator content. We have customer relationships and loyalty. And then we are having the intellectual property and the rest. Hope you're getting it. So you have understood tangible information and intangible informations. So what actual will help you to differentiate these items into tangible and also intangible. Let's move to the next page. We are having what? Improve inventory control is tangible. Enhancing customer service is intangible. You can't count how customers have been enhanced. Increased production is something that you'll be able to see that these products are being increased. How do I get what I'm talking about? Great. And then move on to information quality. What makes information to have quality or to be quality or to be in a quality way? It has to have what? It must be timeliness, accurate, clarity, confidence in source. So what's the credibility of an information? What makes an information to be of quality? It must have to be timeliness. So it's been divided into 4 columns. That is the time, the content, the form, and the additional characteristics. So it must be timeliness. It must be accurate. It must be in a clarity form. It has to be confidence in source. Hope you're getting it. So all these are items that helps information to be of quality. Please, I hope it's well understood. Great. Then what then is what? Knowledge. What then is knowledge? Knowledge is the application of understanding, experience, accumulated learning, and ability to solve real-world problems. So knowledge is the active application of understanding, experience, and then what? Accumulated learning and ability to solve a real problem. Whilst we are in this prestigious university, to be precise, K University, we can get to know that As we are gaining knowledge, it is helping us to have the applied understanding experience in whatever we are doing to solve real problems. So as we find ourselves in these institutions, to be precise, as KUST, here's the case that, or to any institution that you find yourself into, you are being impacted knowledge, and these knowledge are there to make you solve real problems in the outside world. Hope you're getting it. So it is the fact of knowing something with familiarity gained through experience or education. So knowledge is sometimes referred to as an intellectual capital. Your intellectual capital, as you are having, is knowledge. You are who you are because of the capacity or the amount of knowledge you carry as a student. You are not just a student because you are gaining admission and you are wearing attire or any kind of attire to come to class. You are a student, or you gain much capacity as a student because of the knowledge you are here to acquire. And the knowledge that you are here to acquire helps you to know what you have to do and how you have to go about things in an organization. So the knowledge is used to answer the how questions in decision making. How can customer satisfaction be improved? It can only be improved through what? Knowledge. If you don't have knowledge on how customer satisfaction can be improved, how can it be improved? So knowledge helps us to answer the question what? How? Hope you get what I'm talking about. How? How are we going to do this? With the aspect or with the knowledge in mind, you can be able to know that, wow, this is what we are, this is what we can do. This is how we have to go about it. Hope you get what I'm talking about. Great. So then we move on to the types of knowledge. The types of knowledge. We have the explicit knowledge and the tacit knowledge. The explicit knowledge and the tacit knowledge. So in as much that we have so many things written under them, I will explain them in the simplest way so that you get to know the understanding and how to appreciate the meaning of explicit knowledge and implicit, the explicit knowledge and the tacit what? Knowledge. So with the explicit knowledge, I know there are things written here when data is being processed, organized, structured, and analyzed. The result is explicit knowledge. Great. But what someone will ask, explicit knowledge is the most basic form of knowledge and easy to communicate, store, and distribute. So all that this is actually to let us understand that explicit knowledge is the knowledge that can be easily what? Documented and shared with others. That is it. It is the knowledge that can be written down, drawn, or codified in some way. That is why we have books, we have introduction manuals, we have policies, specification, web content. All these are explicit knowledge because after data has been processed, organized, and structured, it helps us to easily communicate, store, and distribute. Hope you're getting it. So, for example, a company's handbook contains what? Explicit knowledge about company's policies and procedures, job description and what? Responsibilities, benefits and compensation what? Packages. So, if you go to a company and they give you the company's handbook, that handbook that has been given to you is the explicit knowledge because um, policies and also basic or some things are being written down to be easy to communicate to you and distribute outward to you. Hope you're getting the understanding. So what then is tacit knowledge? Tacit knowledge is the opposite of explicit knowledge because tacit knowledge is the knowledge that is difficult to document or share with others. It's true. There are some knowledge they are very, 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 very difficult to what? To share with others. And it is based on personal experience. So there are some personal experience that if I'm trying to let you know or if I'm trying to communicate, sometimes it becomes very difficult. Hope you're getting it. So the tacit knowledge is how or is this kind of knowledge that becomes difficult to document or share with others. For example, a master chef has a tacit knowledge about the perfect balance of flavors in a dish. So you see, that master chef or a chef has the personal experience. But you, since you've learned it and you've learned how to go about it, his personal experience might be difficult to transmit to you unless you stay with that chef for some time. There are some things it is very difficult to transmit or it is very difficult to share with others unless the person stays with you. So with the tacit knowledge, this knowledge is tacit because it's based on what? Personal experience, intuition, and expertise. It is difficult to write down or document in a way that allow others to easily what? articulate or easily to accept or replicate your skills. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Great. So explicit knowledge can be shared. Tacit knowledge is difficult to share. Tacit knowledge is based on personal experience. Explicit knowledge is after data has been processed, structured, and organized. It helps us to communicate what effectively and easily as well. Then what then is the next? We move on to wisdom. 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 So wisdom is what? The collection of values, ethics, moral codes, and prior experiences that form an evaluated understanding of common sense judgment. So with wisdom, it is the ability to make sound judgments and decisions based on the deep understanding of situations. That is the meaning of wisdom, according to ICT in businesses. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Yeah. So how to make sound judgments? But in order to make sound judgment, you have to have a deeper understanding of situations. In case you're having two people that you want to get to know more about how they have to do their things, you have to know that, okay, this is the situation at hand. You're having two people here, and here is the case that this person is having an issue with this person. In order for you to judge in order for you to judge those situations, you have to have a deeper understanding. You can't just go and then get there and you'll be like, what's the problem? Without hearing from their side or from each side. So wisdom is more abstract than data, information, and knowledge. Because with wisdom, you can't capture wisdom. You can never capture wisdom. You can never write wisdom down. No. You get it? So with wisdom, it answers the why in a given situation. The why in a given situation. For example, wisdom would be corporate strategies evaluating the various reasons for the sales job, creatively analyzing the situation as a whole, and developing innovative policies and procedures to reverse recent downward trend in what? In new vehicle sales. For example, when you talk of wisdom, as I said in this way, that it helps you to what? Make sound judgments, having a deeper understanding. So if you look at this example, you are trying to understand why is this happening. So if you want to know why, because wisdom answers the question why. Why are you doing this? Why is this happening? So if you step into that why, you get to know that this and this and this is the situation. So you are trying to have a deeper understanding of that what situation that will be able to help you to make sound what judgments. If I get what I'm talking about, yes, that is how it will help you to make sound judgment. Because if you don't understand why is this happening and then you get deeper understanding in it, how are you going to make sound judgment? Hope I get what I'm talking about. Great. So then we move on to data, information, knowledge, and also what? Wisdom. So when you got data is the central component of every information system. Every information system. Data is what? Is the central component. Because if you don't get the data, how can you process the data into information? So informations are not information if they are not first data. You get it? Informations are not informations if they are not first in the form of a data. Because unless you know an information, it must first of all be transferred from the data aspect into the information aspect. So information or information system processes data into meaningful information that is transformed into knowledge and then ultimately creates wisdom that fuels corporate strategy. So you see how it is being interconnected with each other. You get it? So with the wisdom in the highest level in the hierarchy and involve the application in the knowledge the application of knowledge in a way that reflects sound judgment. So wisdom is why, knowledge is how. You get it? So the knowledge is using information to determine reasons, and the wisdom is using or creatively accessing knowledge to develop innovative policies. So how and then why? Knowledge is how, and then wisdom is why. But before knowledge will become knowledge, we must first of all get what? An information. You get it? And after getting that information, before we get information, we must first get what? The data or the raw figure. So it passes through what? Data. And then move after information, gives up the knowledge, and then thereby we come up with the wisdom. So if it does not start from data, we cannot get wisdom. And if it does not start from data, we cannot get information. So that's why data is the central component of every system. If we enter every organization, whatever that they will ask you is what? First, give us the data. They will process those data into informations and they'll get the knowledge. And after getting the knowledge, they will be developing wisdom. How innovative ideas, innovative strategies to go about things. Hope I get what I'm talking about. So, with the help of information technology and people, helps us to get information systems. But what entails information system? Data to wisdom. Data is the central component, wisdom the highest level of the hierarchy. I hope you are getting it. Great. So as you can see it, data processing in the world, the IPO cycle. So it must be inputted, data must be collected, captured, scanned. And then afterwards, we have what? Processing. And then after we have the output, the communication, and the storage. So after output, you can store it. And then after output, you can communicate. So it's two things. After data has been inputted, processed, and we get the output, it's either you store it or what? You communicate it. So use or people are the user, the client, the customers, the operations, the operators, the technicians, the government, the company. They are all people that helps us to have an effective way of what? Information systems. Hope you're getting it. Great. Hope you're getting the concept very well. Fantastic. Great. So it is very simple for you to understand these things well and appreciate it when you enter into organizations and how you are going to combine them to help the organization as well. What are the types of information systems? Types of information systems. We have, as we may say, to ultimately transform real data into wisdom, a hierarchy of different types of information system can be implemented. Yes, an information system may be simple as a single computer and a printer used by one person, or complex as several thousands of computers with hundreds of printers. Hope you are getting it. Great. So the types of information systems, we move on up to the operational level. We have the operational level. You see, in an organization, you have the different levels of management. You get, we have the operational level, we have the middle management, we have the board of directors and the rest. So you can see that with executive or in an organization, we are having executive and everyone coming together. We have the executive, you have the senior managers, you have the middle managers, you have the line workers. All these aspects in an organization have an information system that they used. Have I getting what I'm talking about? Great. So with this, the raw data is then input into MIS by what? Middle managers. So let us use the example here to understand it. The types of information system. Let us use the examples here. We have the transaction processing systems, the management information systems, we have the decision support systems, we have what? The executive information system. But where does it start from? It starts from where? The workers. The workers gives us the data. Those data are being inputted into what? Management information system by what? Middle managers. Have I getting the concept well? Yes. And after they are being inputted, then senior managers get the knowledge. And then after senior managers getting the knowledge, with the executives, they come up with wisdom. That is strategies or innovative policies that will help to run the organization. So that is how this must be used in order to help. Hope you're getting it. So in as much that they have written everything, I've explained everything in the simplest way by using the table as the raw data is then input into MIS by middle managers to produce information for use by senior managers. So instead of senior manager getting the information, how do they get information? They get information first from the line workers, and then the middle managers process those data into informations, and the senior managers uses those information to come up with knowledge, and an executive uses that knowledge to come up with what? Policies that brings out what? Wisdom. So we are going to explain those aspects, the transaction processing systems, the management processing systems, and then we explain the decision support systems, and then we move on as to the next thing that is expected of us to do. So with the transaction processing system, that's the TPS. An information that collects, monitors, stores, processes, and distributes specific types of data input from ongoing what transactions. If I get what I'm talking about, yeah. So, for example, okay, let me explain it this way: that the transaction processing system handles daily transactions. That is it. It handles daily transactions, so it can be manual or it can be automatic. The TPS can be manual and can be automatic. So the TPS are usually operated by frontline workers and provide the key data required to support management of operations. If I get what I'm talking about. So for example, like a cash register records purchase at a supermarket. So that cash thing is a transaction process because it uses or handles daily transactions. You get it? Yes. So TPS are essential, or transactions are not captured. Transactions that are not captured can result in loss in sales or dissatisfied customers, unrecorded payments, and may other what and many other types of data errors with financial impact that can also occur. Okay, getting. So you have the internal transaction, and you have the external transaction. So the internal ones occur within what the organization. The one that we use to record purchases by the organization, record payrolls, they are the internal ones. But the external ones are the ones used or originate outside the organization. That is for only customers and suppliers, and there are people as well. Probably getting the concept well. Yes. So we have the real time. Sorry, we are moving on to is it we are not the same um transaction processing system. You have the real time versus the batch processing system. The real time processing system talks of what processes each transaction as it occurs. It processes each transaction as it occurs. The real time, it processes each transaction. So every transaction that will occur in the organization is going to process it at that particular time. It's going to process it, each of them. So making an online payment with a credit card. If I get it. So as you keep on making purchases, and this real-time processing helps to record or process each transactions as it occurs. I hope you are getting it. And the batch processing collects all transactions for some time. When processes the data at predetermined time, such as hourly, daily, or weekly, example like payroll processing. So that's it. It's very, very simple for you to understand. Hope you are getting what I'm talking about. Yes. So then we move on to the management information systems. The management information system, that is MIS, the general purpose of it is reporting system that provide reports to what managers for tracking operations, monitoring, and what control. If I get what I'm talking about. So they are the management level system that are used by the middle managers. So who uses what management information system? They are middle managers that use it because they are the one that use this or transform the data into information, and they communicate them to who? The senior managers. So like the management information system just what in a simple way, it provides summaries and reports. It provides summaries and reports. And then for example, you have a hotel manager who checks a daily report of a room bookings, or maybe a business owner who sees weekly sales reports. If I get what I'm talking about. So the types of reports generated by MIS include the following. We have the periodic and we have the exception. The reports created are or run according to a preset schedule. Sorry, this periodic is according or is within a certain period. You get it? Yes, because as I said that this management information system, they just provide summaries and reports. And you have the exception. The exceptions are generated only when something is outside the norm. When something is outside the normal, that is when we generate that exception what reports. And move on to the decision support system. Decision support system. So this is a knowledge-based system used by senior managers to facilitate the creation of knowledge and allow its integration into the organization. If I get what I'm talking about, great. So this is how it should be done. Because, for example, all about the decision support system, it helps in decision making. And how does it help decision making? They must make sure that they are the knowledge-based system that manages or facilitate the creation of what? Knowledge. And they create those knowledges to give it to executives or shareholders of an organization to make what? Quality informations. So this decision support system manipulate and build upon information from the management information systems to generate insights and new information in ad hoc reports. When we talk of ad hoc reports are unplanned reports, and they are generated on demand to learn about a situation or a problem or opportunity. It's very simple. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Great. So the decision support system support unstructured, semi-structured decisions such as make or buy or outsource decision, or something like what products to develop and introduce into the existing market. So for example, we have the structured decision making. Let me check this out. We are going to talk about the decision making. Great. Yes. So the degree of the structure of decisions can be structured decisions, unstructured decisions, semi-structured decisions. So the structured decisions follows a fixed process. I'm just explaining it in the simplest way. It follows a fixed process. For example, approving a student's loan based on an income level. So we are trying to follow a process, a fixed process. Hope you're getting what I'm talking about. Great. So the next one is unstructured decision. That is needs, judgment, and experience. There are some things, decisions depend on human intelligence, experiences, and some judgments. We're getting it. For example, deciding which new product to launch. This one, it doesn't follow any fixed process. You just need some judgment and experience and some needs from somewhere. And then we have the semi-structured. That is a mix of fixed rules and what? Judgment. Fixed rules and like deciding and marketing budget based on past sales. Hope I get what I'm talking about. Yes. So as they have explained here, they are well-defined method for solving. So structured decisions are well-defined method for solving a particular thing. But unstructured decisions, they are not well defined method, but it depends on intelligence, knowledge, and experience for us to make decisions. But for the semi-structured one, it uses both the fixed one and also what? The ones that are not based on what? Fixed, but also what? Judgment as well. Hope I get to what I'm talking about. So the main characteristic that distinguishes decision support from MIS is the inclusion of model. That is, decision makers can manipulate models to conduct what if analysis and then goal seeking. You get the concept very well. Great. This is how you go about it. And then move on to the next one. That is the executive thoughts. Sorry. What if analysis and goal seeking? We are trying to understand what if analysis and goal seeking before we move on to the executive information systems. So when we are trying to talk of the what if analysis in a simplest way, all that we mean about this what if analysis is testing different scenarios. So it refers to changing assumptions or model in the to observe the impact of those changes in the outcome. So it allows decision makers to assess different scenarios and understand how changes to certain factors might influence results. So a restaurant might explore how different price points could impact sales volume, revenue, and profit. That's why I said what if analysis is just simple, testing different scenarios. You get it? Yes. So in as much that you are reading all these, try to get the understanding. What if analysis? So what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we can do this? What if we do this? So we are trying to test different aspects of what scenarios to know how we can or how it might affect our results. If I get what I'm talking about. Yes. So for example, what if we increase the price by 10%? What if we decrease the price by 10%? What if we increase the price by 15%? So we are trying to test different scenarios and how these can affect our results. That's the what if analysis. But the goal seeking analysis is setting a goal and finding how to achieve it. Yes, goal seeking is a method of making decisions where decision maker has a specific outcome in mind and needs to determine how that outcome can be achieved and whether it is feasible to achieve that desired outcome. If I get to what I'm talking about. Yes. So the goal seeking just was what is setting a goal and how to achieve it. We are all here and we are all here to learn. But how are you going to achieve first class? You have first class in mind. You get it. It's a goal. This is my goal. This is what I want to achieve. But how do you go about it? How can you achieve it? We call that one goal seeking what method. If I get what I'm talking about. So for example, how many sales do we need to make 10,000 profits? It's a goal. The goal is 10,000. But how? How are you going to achieve it? That's the goal seeking method. But the what if talks of what? The what if analysis talks of what? Different scenarios, testing different scenarios, and how these scenarios are going to affect our what? Our decision. Hope you're getting the concept very well. Great. We move on to the executive information systems. So these are the strategic level information systems that help executive and senior managers analyze the environment in which the organization exists. So more of executive information system is like it helps senior managers and CEOs to make long-term decisions. Long-term decisions. So it is designed to easily be operated by executives. You get it? That's the purpose. You get it? So that's the executive information system. These are the information system that is being used by who? Executives to make long-term decisions. You get it? They support the high level decision making. The high level decision making. Hope you're getting the concept very well. Great. And then you have the dashboard. As you have explained everything here, you get the understanding very, very well. So this brings us to the end of our lesson for IT in business. Moreover, talking of what? Information system, concept, and its classification. This is grade 8 Utah. And then thank you very much for following us. Kindly like and subscribe as well. You can share it to your friends for them to get the understanding very well. So I will see you in the next video for the next lecture. Thank you very much.